Hey peeps, it's Spidey here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts on the zombie survival game made by the developing company Techland called Dying Light. And just to make a quick note before we get into what I like and dislike about the game, this video will be focused on Dying Light 1, and in the future I may decide to have a go at Dying Light 2 and do a thought sharing video on that. But that will be for a later date. So without further ado, let's get straight into the meat of the video. Okay, so for the graphics and gameplay, upon my first impressions of this game, I was amazed by the level of detail that was put into the terrain, the buildings, the objects, the characters, the zombies, and the day and night timeline. It feels very realistic, and I can understand that the majority of action games have been developed with the solid focus of being as realistic as possible, so that players can really feel their characters that they play, and to really show the perception on what if they were that character. This can allow players to understand how to survive the outdoors, obviously for the context of this game in particular, in case of a situation where they have to survive as long as possible during a real zombie apocalypse. This brings me nicely onto the crafting system within the game and the ability to salvage and craft items such as medkits and weaponry. I believe that this was a real positive touch to the gameplay, as it showed that the developers didn't want to give the player the perception of being left out, and to give them the skills on how to craft certain items and also upgrade them to make them a lot more durable and a lot more powerful. Now, prior to recording this video, I recently finished the storyline of this game, and to not make any spoilers and to give you a brief summary of my experience, it was phenomenal. Being able to understand first the background of each of the characters and how they all had their part to play in the gaming environment, plus the understanding as to why there was a zombie apocalypse in the first place, and going through the backstories as to how the city of Haran, which is the environment that you start off in, was infected by obviously zombies and what have you. So yeah, I would highly recommend, if you want to learn a bit more detail, get this game, try out the campaign, and observe every detail you possibly can and take notes and really get the feel for it. And that's what I would say to reduce the amount of spoilers that I may have mentioned in this part of the video. Okay, so that was a brief overview as to what I thought was very positive about the game. Now let's have a look at what I didn't really like about the game and what improvements could have been made. Now, during the campaign, there wasn't much vehicle interaction for the player. For example, the ability to drive vehicles and ram over zombies, etc., which would have given a stronger action enhancement within the game, since the player in the initial instinct has to climb and run over buildings in order to ambush zombies on the ground and zombies climbing, the gutters and what have you from the buildings, which I can understand has its own parkour element and therefore gives the player a challenge. However, I would have really suggested adding in vehicles, which would have allowed for a lot more action in the game. Another element which I didn't really like was the weapon economy, since some of the weapons were too expensive to buy, and even when you sold weapons that had a reasonable amount of durability, they would go down in value by a large amount in a short space of time rather than in smaller decrements. As a result, whilst I understand it gives the player a chance to salvage money from zombies and collect materials, etc., to make the weapons themselves, I suppose the value of a crafted weapon with the exact same features would potentially be roughly around the same sort of price, just like if you were going to purchase it directly from the Safe House shop. However, I still feel there was a slight imbalance on the price margins, but as I say, that is my personal opinion. And finally, one small little thing that I didn't really like was the slight out-of-sync keyboard key prompts during combat with either a NPC or a zombie. I can understand that it can allow for the player to test out their reaction time using their eye and hand coordination techniques. However, I think with better synchronization, that will balance out the reaction time a lot further. And this brings me nicely to my overall thoughts of this game. So, good concepts for understanding how to become a survivor during a zombie apocalypse, especially with the crafting system and being able to navigate through how to actually craft items and weapons. excellent attention to detail for the artwork and graphics, which makes the game realistic. Amazing cutscenes throughout the storyline, which demonstrates the action and drama themes of the game. And then in terms of improvements that could be implemented, a better weapon economy so that there is a balance between the price of crafting a weapon and purchasing it directly from the safe house shops. Having access to vehicles during the progression of the storyline, which would have added more action enhancements to the game. What I mean by this is obviously driving a vehicle and ramming over zombies. That for me would actually demonstrate some really positive action. And finally, better synchronization on the keyboard key prompts during combat events, etc. Because I did see a little bit of out of synchronization, as I have mentioned before. So I think with better patching of various events that occur during the game, I think that would actually be a good improvement to implement. And so that brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed understanding what my thoughts were of this game, then please leave a like and comment down below what your thoughts and experiences were of this game. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on when I upload a new video. Follow me on my social media and stream platforms in the description below this video. And until next time, guys, we shall see you in the next video. Bye bye and peace out. Spidey out.